Today is the perfect day to tackle some weeds. As you can see, the garden is a mess. It is super windy and it is starting to rain. Obviously, this week's filming did not work out quite as planned. Stick around and we'll talk about why. One of the great things about the garden is that it really keeps you on your toes. At least that's one of the things I'm discovering as I'm trying to dig into actually making this garden even better than it was before. And as you can see down on this end, I obviously did not put enough weight on the cardboard before the windy weather came. And the other thing that I discovered yesterday when I went to look at all my footage is that not only was my camera stopping every like 45 seconds while I was filming all of the stuff that I did down there, but it also cut out my sound about half of the time. So this week's video is going to be a little interesting. And I need to refilm part of it right now before the rains come, at least so I have something to show you. And the thing that I wanted to share with you most is what's going on in my winter garden, or at least my first attempt at a winter garden. So right now, let's take a little tour around, and hopefully the camera will behave itself this time and you can actually hear what I'm saying. We'll see how that goes. Then we'll talk about that down there, and I can use some of the footage from my filming when we did the work on Monday, but I may have to do some voiceover in there as well. All right, here we go. The first thing to note about my garden is Miss Nibbles, you're fine, girl, you just got to get out. Is Miss Nibbles, one, is pretending that I'm a hawk, and two, is not supposed to be in the garden. However, Snap and Crackle have shown the chickens how to get through the fence, which they did not know between those two barred rocks joined our family. So Miss Nibbles is going to get herself out of here. Come on, lady. Out. Get out. No, get out. You go on. There you go. Scoot. Scoot. Let's hurt you with the camera. Scoot, baby girl. You're not even scared of the camera. You said, where's my close-up? All right, come on, Nibs. Let's go. And this is what we call chicken wrangling. Go on. Go on. Get your fluffy butt out. Scoot. Scoot, chicken, scoot. Uh-huh. Keep going. Don't just stand there. Oh, thank you so much for the extra fertilizer. Definitely one of those weeks. Definitely never a dull moment on the farm. Okay, so let's get back to the gardens, which is where we were going when Nibbles decided to interrupt our chat. And it's freezing, so I want to do this quick because I am definitely not working in the garden this afternoon. I just have to film a little bit, so I have something to share with you because that's my goal, is to get one video up a week, and so far I'm on track. I don't want to lose at this point. Here we go. Okay, as you can see here, I still have the Brussels sprouts that need pulled from actually those were March. And I've been picking on them, but they're starting to decompose. And like I said, I was gonna let them feed the soil and blah, 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 but I really need to get started planting some of my cold weather crops. It's actually almost time to put peas in, and I wanna try that orak, however you say it. That says that it can be planted almost now. So I'm going to try it, and obviously I have enough seeds that I can plant some later if those aren't viable. This bed also has lots of my onion experiment in it, so I need to get it cleaned out and see what's going to happen here. Now this bed here was my tomatoes last year, and as you can see, still some of my onions, which are doing fairly well, and I think I'm going to keep most of them. But it makes it really problematic to plan where I'm putting the rest of my crops because I moved those onions when all of my summer crops were still in the beds. That's when the onions sprouted. That's when I had to figure out what to do with this onion experiment. I'm doing this a lot today. I don't know why. It's not something I normally do. I'm going with it, I guess. One of those days, one of those weeks, maybe one of those lives. In any case, so those onions are going to make it problematic to figure out my spring planting. And I've really been moving seed packets around and making little drawings and using computer programs and playing around with what I'm going to do to battle, one, the sun movement that is not ideal because of the layout of the beds, and two, how to plant around all my onions I already have. This bed is asparagus, and last year my asparagus wasn't coming up well, so I actually moved 2 cucumber plants over here. When the tomatoes were next door, I picked some of the tomato armpits off and just put them in the dirt in 90-degree weather, and they grew. In fact, those are the 2 that I experimented with single stemming because I was too wimpy to single stem the rest of my tomatoes. Since last year was the first year I ever pruned a tomato, I had never heard of pruning tomatoes, and I thought I was going to kill them. I will talk about tomatoes and single stemming them later, and there are tons of videos out there, which is how I found the information, but I'll tell you a little bit about what I did and how they worked. In any case, my tomato armpits, as Jessica over at Roots and Refuge calls them, actually put them in the ground straight in 90-degree weather, and they grew beautifully. And I moved them twice because the asparagus started coming up and I had to do something. Sorry, I'm sniffling. It's cold out and I'm trying to keep an eye on Nibbles, who wants to come back in. Rascals. Any case, over here, this is my garlic. This is the hard stemmed garlic, and it's looking pretty good. It's actually getting super tall. I've got some lettuce here. This one is Miniatina, I think. This one, and it's doing well. That one, the snow, and then the 2 weeks of super, super cold rain did that one in, and it needs pulled. I'll plant some more. These 2 onions are actually the 2 that I planted last spring that did not come up in the summer and decided to start growing in the fall, and they are huge, and I'm not sure if I'm picking them for spring onions so I have more space to plant or if I'm leaving them to get even bigger. Don't know yet. Still thinking about it. Down here, the snow was out the last time I actually gave you a tour, so I totally forgot to talk about these 2. Oh, look, they're coming back. Okay, so here, oh no, it's not coming back. So I have in this bed 2 lettuces that have been here since March, and I've been picking off the ends, the outside leaves, and they have been coming back ever since last March until we had the snow, followed by the 2 weeks of super, super cold, tons of rain. I think they've finally given up the ghost, and I need to pull them now, which is fine because I need to plant other things. But really, since last March, that's some serious lettuce, and I have no idea what kind it was because I put a mixed pack in here, plus like 3 other kinds. The entire bed was full with high density planted lettuce, which was brilliant, especially because the donkeys ate half of the bed before I put the board up to keep them out. So these are also some onions. This lettuce and this lettuce look a little bit like Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors, if you know that musical. In any case, that's what I've been calling them because they have just lasted forever. Those need pulled. This is a purple kohlrabi, and it's doing okay. It's literally one of my only brassicas that I planted, started from seed. Oh my gosh, it is cold out here. Look, my hands are turning purple. I'm gonna go inside soon. I'm gonna go faster. It's the only plant that survived, really, when I've transplanted from inside to outside. I didn't really harden them off well because I haven't done a lot of seed starting inside, only tomatoes, and I was pretty brutal with those. I just brought them straight out and planted them. I don't know how they lasted, but they did, so that was pretty lucky. Over here, this was 6, 7 different things, including like the cauliflower, etc. Still have some onions down here. They're looking fine. My brassicas in this bed are doing okay, but as you can see, something is eating them. Hello, yes, I see you, purr. I have no idea what is eating my brassicas in the middle of winter, and it's making me really frustrated. This bed over here, even worse. As you can see here, There were actually little starts. I think those were cauliflowers, and now they are certainly not going to be cauliflowers. I'm obviously going to have to pull those. I'm not sure what insect is getting them in the winter. I need to do some research. When I find out, I'll let you know. If I find out, we'll see how that goes. And over here, just to finish up the quickest tour ever, because my hands literally are purple at this point, these are my soft net garlics that I planted in the fall, and they're doing great. Here is some garlic, and here is some garlic that I actually put in March, and it did not grow, and it started growing this winter. So there you go. More of my onion experiment, some celery. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. More of my onion experiment, some celery, a cat. Excuse me, Purface. Meow. There we go. I've never grown celery, and again, I put those seeds in August for cool weather. They did not grow, and they started coming up this winter. I have no idea what to do with celery, so that'll be a fun thing to figure out. Oh, Nibbles is still outside the fence. I thought she made it back in, little rascal. The gate is a work in progress. This fence has been here since before we bought the place, or before I bought the place with the parents. And it is needing repair. And the idea is, if I'm brave enough and have enough time and want to tackle another new thing, is I have some scrap metal that I want to start trying to weld a fence with. We'll see how that goes. I may just end up getting some hog panels, putting a nice wood frame about it, putting that up and making my life a whole lot easier. But I think the welding will be way more fun and potentially dangerous. So we'll see about that. I have done some welding before with people who know what they're doing. And I do have a welder here that is mine for a few more months. So I need to put it to use. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep you updated on that. And if you never hear mention of the fence again, I totally did not fail at welding or burn my fingers off. I just didn't have time. Here again, kale just needs a trim. It will still keep growing. It's fine. Lots more onions all throughout this bed. Again, note to self, when you're starting an onion experiment, think ahead to the next spring where you actually want to plant crops that need more space than some of my layouts of onions allow. Putting them in around all my other plants, just finding space to pop them in, not the best plan, but it was what I did at the time. So now the only thing I can do is make the best of it moving forward. In any case, I hope the sound worked on this and we had a quick tour. I am literally turning bluish, purplish, partially because this vest is super warm, but I hate wearing coats, and that's one reason why I don't have one on. And I didn't really think it was this cold outside. So I am going to head inside. I just got home from work anyway. I've got to get some stuff done, and I'll get this video put together and put up. I'll probably give you a little update on my seeds. I have some more that I planted and some more I want to plant. But this weedy end of the garden, you'll see some clips from the work that I did down there Monday. I'll give some voiceover with it. You won't see the whole process, and obviously I'm going to have to come back out and fix it. It's just not going to happen right this second. I'm hoping that the cardboard will suppress the weeds while decomposing and adding some nutrients to the soil. I am going to add some hay on top to plant into, try a little bit of kind of a Ruth Stout combination, hay bale combination planting scenario, see what happens. Again, the really cool thing about a garden is that you can just try things out and experiment. Also, the really cool thing about YouTube is there are tons of other people who've done the same thing, and I can watch all of their videos and figure out what they did and maybe what worked and what didn't. As you can see, it's picking up, and I'm going to head inside before I blow away. Actually, I'm probably going to go grab a couple of logs and throw them down there so more of the cardboard doesn't blow around. Fortunately, it's all still in the garden. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to fix it. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see what clips I put together of the footage I have of doing this, and I will give you some voiceover there. If you enjoyed this video and don't mind being a part of my potentially not so successful journey in the garden, then you should subscribe. click that little bell button so you're notified when I make a new video, and leave a comment down below. What's one of your garden fails? What's something that you tried and it didn't work, or that you're in the process of trying and you keep retrying it to make it better? Maybe just give me a comment, let me know what's going on with you. I hope everything is awesome and you are slightly warmer than I am right now. I hope you'll join me again so we can do some more growing together.